Here we go. Looks like I'm getting something here. Hello? Oh boy. Oh boy. Hello. Welcome. Can you hear me? Perfect. Perfect. All right. All right, excellent. Well, welcome everyone to the post Takagi-san 2 analysis live stream. This is just going to be a sort of short live stream, just to hang out, celebrate the end of the analysis series, and yeah, Bull Party says amazing video. Thank you, Bull Party. I'm glad you enjoyed it. It was basically all yesterday from 10 in the morning till about 8 p.m. I did take breaks for food and stuff, but I basically worked on the video the whole day, like cutting the audio, adding the visuals, all that. And also, probably worth mentioning early on, you've probably noticed that this is not my office. This is my brother's old room. It's the spare room in my house. Over the 2 weeks that the mistakes videos were uploaded, I was away in Greece for a holiday. But because of coronavirus, when I got home, I was essentially told, don't leave home for 2 weeks. So that's what I'm doing. I got most of my office equipment delivered to my house and just self-isolating for a little while. So, yeah, welcome. I see we have 7 people in attendance. Bull Party asks, if I may ask, what is the plan for this YouTube channel? Yes, you may ask, Bull Party. So for the next 2 or 3 weeks, I still want to upload once a week. For the next 2 or 3 weeks, I want to get a little experimental, sort of not purely focus on narrative analysis. If you'd asked me this time yesterday, I would have told you I know for a fact that there are 3 videos that I want to make, but since then I've started questioning whether I can make full videos out of those ideas. But one idea for a video that I would like to do in the next few weeks that I haven't been discouraged from yet is a video on the game Mafia 3 and sort of how it how do I explain this? Sort of how it fails to teach players how to get the most fun out of it. Like, I really like Mafia 3. I think it's a really fun game. It's I platinumed it last year, and I have it on my PlayStation 4 now because I want to go and get all the DLC trophies. But it took me several attempts to get into it. So I want to do a video on that and why it happened. And after that, another analysis series, which I'm 90% sure will be on Toradora. Duncan Bones sounds interesting, even though they haven't played or seen Mafia 3. It came out a few years ago, and it was sort of averagely received. It got a lot of very valid criticism for being very stale and repetitive, and it is. That's kind of what I like about it. But it's not everyone's cup of tea. Bull Party asks if it's on Netflix. No, this is a video game. Oh no, sorry, you're talking about Toradora, of course. It's Toradora on Netflix, not in Australia, in America, maybe. Rymation thinks it sounds like a good idea. They just started rewatching Toradora. I'll probably have to do that too, rewatch it. I say that as though it's a chore. It's anything but. Not try harder. Looks very excited about it. Kim Jong-hong asks, if Takagi-san never existed, what other anime would you have analyzed? I'm not sure. That's a really interesting question because Takagi-san, I got so into Takagi-san that it is the anime that sort of inspired me to start uploading content onto YouTube. So if it had never existed, I might not even be on YouTube. Not even Toradora inspired me to share anything online. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know what would have probably whatever show next sort of gets me into that euphoric state that Toradora and Takagi-san did. That'd probably be it, but I haven't come across it yet. Bull Party says it's Toradora these days. I initially watched it on Netflix here in Australia, but I know it's been taken off. Crunchyroll has Toradora. Oh, perfect. And I have it on DVD. I managed to get it really cheap, actually. So, although I was lucky, anime in the West is usually pretty expensive. William Davis, I'm here. What did I miss? Let's see. You missed that. I'm doing a few experimental videos in the coming weeks, one of which will be on the video game Mafia 3, and that the next analysis series is Toradora. Yeah, does anyone else have any questions or want to chat about anything in particular? What do you think of the Moto series? Asks Timo Ingenio. I'm sorry, I've totally butchered your name. So I do enjoy it. I'm not sure if it would make for a good anime, though. Takagi-san, the original manga, is a little bit scattershot, but there is enough of there is a very vague sense of character development. So all the anime showrunners had to do was sort of piece it together in a chronological order where that character progression made sense. Moto doesn't really have that. It doesn't really have this sense of underlying character progression. So I do like it because it's Nishikata and Takagi and their daughter is really cute, but yeah, I'm not sure if it'd make for good anime unless the showrunners did find some sort of underlying story to tell. Bull Party suggests that I watch A Silent Voice. I actually have. So I'm pretty sure they brought this up because I mentioned in the during the premiere that I originally clicked on Takagi-san the very first time because I thought it was A Silent Voice. Since then, I bought A Silent Voice from maybe JB Hi-Fi, I don't know. But yeah, I bought it on DVD and I did watch it. It was okay, but not as good as people sort of made it out to be, unfortunately. Not Try Harder has realized that they watched season 2 first. Yeah, look, it's not. I think that's okay. Like, there is sort of a very light sense of character progression, but it's not vital that you watch it all in order. It's not like it's not like Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, where if you start watching in season 2, you're absolutely screwed. But yeah, there are some nice little touches, and you kind of realize that the Nishikata, particularly at the beginning of season 2, is a different person to Nishikata at the beginning of season 1. Kim Jong-hong reckons a silent voice is pretty good. Duncan Bones has asked if I have any plans to analyze Avatar. I'm assuming you mean Avatar: The Last Airbender, not the James Cameron film. Actually, I did think sort of early on, as the season 1 analysis was coming to an end, I thought that I would give The Last Airbender the very same treatment, where I would analyze 1 episode per week until I'd done the whole thing. But then I sort of realized that would take well over a year, and there's no guarantee that every episode will have something to say. But who knows, I might I'm trying story arcs that they found interesting, and so maybe I'll do that someday. You know, I won't analyze every single episode of Avatar: The Last Airbender, but I will go through and see what's worth analyzing, what I can really dig into. So maybe. Augustine Tam has asked if I think there will be an OVA based on the manga's 31st chapter, Memories, and maybe some stuff from Moto. I don't think so, just based on my knowledge of OVAs and what they usually are. I don't think Memories, if it ever is adapted into anime, I don't think it will be adapted in an OVA. As far as I can tell, OVAs are kind of just like side stories, supplementary material to the original. You know, Toradora's OVA was by no means necessary to Toradora. Takagi-san season 1's OVA was by no means necessary to Takagi-san season 1. I think the only other OVA I've seen is for I've completely forgotten the name of it, but it's a show about demon hunters or something. A girl with short pink hair who's always broke. You know, that OVA baffled me because it was treated like an extra episode after the finale. It took me a little while to realize that no, that wasn't the finale. The episode before was. So if Future ever does get adapted into anime, it probably won't be the OVA, but I could be wrong about that. Okay, Ryan Mason has asked how I will do a Toradora analysis by episode or overall. I'll probably do it the way I was originally intending to do it. For those of you who don't know, I did try to analyze Toradora before, but the first episode got taken down by copyright strike, and I kind of, excuse me, and I kind of just sort of walked away from it. What I was going to do there was go arc by arc. So in Toradora, a few episodes will be dedicated to a particular story, and so I thought I would analyze those arcs individually. But actually, since my first attempt at a Toradora analysis failed, I kind of had an epiphany about Toradora that basically exposed my original thesis to be really, really bad. So my original thesis was that Toradora was a show about Tiger and Ryuji learning what love was, and that's a really weak thesis for Toradora. I've since realized it does so much more than that. So I'll really iron out and concretely realize the thesis for the series, and then I will structure everything else around that. You know, whatever explains the thesis best. Let's see, where am I up to? Data 52 has suggested I analyze The Last Airbender by season. I could do that, but I feel like a lot of the claims in an entire season analysis would be a bit general. Like off the top of my head, if I were to do an analysis on season 2 of The Last Airbender, whatever thesis I had that talked about season 2 probably wouldn't mention a story like, let's say, Zuko alone. So yeah, I mean, maybe I'll analyze individual episodes, and then once I've done all the episodes for a season I want to do, I'll do a whole season analysis. Yeah, maybe maybe at the end I'll do sort of a rapid fire season analysis like I did in the summer festival analysis. Yeah, that could be fun. Bull Party says that TZ Master Takagi-san was their first anime, and it will always be their favorite. That's a pretty good anime to start with, I'd say. My first anime was Sword Art Online, and it was fine. Like it sort of piqued my interest in anime, but it didn't exactly blow my mind. It's actually kind of weird. There were a lot of problems with Sword Art Online, excuse me, but I kind of figured that those problems were just standard for anime, so I overlooked them. But then the very next anime I watched was Steins Gate, and that blew my mind. And so it made me realize, okay, so Sword Art Online doesn't have an excuse for some of its less than stellar moments. If you'd asked me right after I'd watched it, or even a year after I'd watched it, I'd have told you that I really liked Sword Art Online. These days, probably. Bull Party would like to know if I'm going to analyze the manga at all. Probably not. Print media is a very different ballpark to my area of expertise. That and when I analysed season 1, there were a couple of episodes dedicated to manga chapters, and those have since been taken down via copyright strike, which I think is fair enough. Season 1 was very reliant on plot, sort of plot summary, so it kind of makes sense that showing pictures of the manga and saying what's happening in them would get. I'm kind of still a bit salty from all that, so probably no to specialized manga analysis, I'm afraid. What do you think of Seven Seeds on Netflix, asks Bull Party. I never finished it. I did start it, and it was... Goodness, I'm trying to remember. It was okay, I think. I think I sort of enjoyed it. But yeah, I don't remember much about it, which, that in itself probably says something. Rymation, my first was Sword Art Online as well. Yeah, it was, like, say what you want about it, but it was an international cultural phenomenon. It is definitely the anime that sort of got a lot of people in the West into anime. I think it's the first anime that had ever been recommended to me. So yeah, I mean, bash on Sword Art Online all you want. I might do that at some point in my YouTube career, but you can't deny the impact that shows like Attack on Titan, and Death Note have had on the anime landscape. Which, by the way, I have not seen Death Note. I have seen Attack on Titan. Oh boy, but I haven't seen Death Note. Blue Pond has pointed out that The Last Airbender has been overanalyzed on YouTube. Yeah, a lot of people have talked about it. It does deserve the attention it's got, but yeah, I will have to. I will sort of have to look at what's out there, and I will only analyze it if I have something to add to the conversation. I'm not just going to rehash things that other people have already said. Quincy Chamberlain, awesome patron, has asked whether I've ever seen Railgun or Index. I haven't seen Railgun. I haven't seen Index either. Is that short for Index Finger? Index Finger. What am I saying? I'm like, was there an anime called Index Finger? No, that's your Index Finger. No, I haven't seen either of those, but I'll look them up. Ramation asks if I'm watching the new episodes of Sword Art Online. No, I'm not. I watched season 2 sort of shortly after it had come out, but after that I kind of stopped. Season 2, a good chunk of season 2 just bored me to tears, and a lot of the show's sort of real issues are super present there. Like I don't remember a lot from it, but I do remember this one moment where like Kirito wants a sword and he finds out what dungeon this sword is in. And so they go into this dungeon, and I'm like, okay, cool. This is kind of like an MMO slice of life. You know, it's not about saving the world. It's not about this or that. But just as they're starting in the dungeon, they have this scene where it's like, oh my God, if we don't beat this dungeon, the game world's going to be destroyed and it'll be gone forever. And why? Why did it have to be another save the world story? Why couldn't they just do the dungeon? Like, hey, Kirito, there was this huge anti-hype train against Sword Art Online. I thought that was really dumb and really annoying. Shu/I'm just too good has said, watch Death Note, you scrub. Maybe. I've heard it's got some similar trappings to Sword Art Online and Attack on Titan. I've heard it gets a little bit edgy, and I'm not so much into that stuff these days. My dogs have started barking. That's nice. Duncan Bone asks if this stream will be saved. I will try. I'm not used to streaming, but I will absolutely try to save this onto the channel. Absolutely. Rymation highly recommends Death Note. So, okay. Kim Jong-hong says that Dragon Ball was their first anime, but Takagi was the first anime they watched that was different from everything else. It always soothes them from a rough day of school. Yeah, that was that was. I know exactly what you're talking about, and Toradora was that for me. Can you guys hear my dogs barking? They're being very, very noisy. So yeah, like most anime I'd watched up until that point had they'd been entertaining. I'd enjoyed it, but Toradora was the first that actually kind of blew my mind. Like it altered my mood. It put me almost into the sense of euphoria. Like nothing mattered anymore. It was almost kind of like being drunk watching Toradora. I loved it so much that after I watched it in 2 days, the next day I watched it all again and very quickly realized that I wasn't going to get the same feeling. So I know exactly what you're talking about. And Takagi-san was the second anime to have ever done that to me. Other than that, the only piece of media that has done, given me that sense of euphoria is a video game, which I have considered doing an analysis series on. So what that is, I'll let you know. I'll let you know another time. Bull Party says that Takagi-san introduced them to manga, and yeah, I think I'm pretty much the same. I don't think I was really interested in manga until I wanted to compare the Takagi-san and My Senpai is Annoying, Suki X Suki, if you can deal with some slightly more content. Okay, not sexual, but like the crush the girl has on the guy is far more extreme in Suki X Suki, but I do like it. Yamamoto's other work, Amiyu, I think you pronounce it, draws ever closer to the end game, is really cool. Yeah. Where am I up to? I'm falling behind again. Kulftra Legend asks if I have any anime similar to Takagi-san to recommend. Toradora, if you haven't seen it, would recommend that. Anime like Takagi-san. Well, yeah, Toradora gave me a very similar feeling, but if you've already seen that, oh man, maybe I should get my anime list up. Snow White with the Red Hair is a pretty nice romance story. It's all very sort of romantically shot. Anime is my favorite, so I don't know why I can't list them off the top of my head. Probably because it's been a while since I've watched any anime that isn't. It's been a while since I watched any anime that wasn't Takagi-san. Went through here. What's it called? As the Moon So Beautiful is this super underrated show that I absolutely adore. I'm on my anime list right now, and there are only so many. Was it 1, 2, 3, 4? There are only 5 shows that I've rated 10 out of 10. Takagi-san season 1 and 2. Suridori Children. How did I forget Suridori Children? That's ridiculous. If you haven't seen Suridori Children, really ultimately decided that no, I like Takagi-san better. But yeah, so anime like Takagi-san, Suridori Children, As the Moon So Beautiful, Toradora. I think some people will say Clannad. I would not. I don't think Clannad is very good. Let's see. Man, I'm falling behind. If it takes me a while to get to your message, I'm sorry. I'm trying to get through them in order. Data 52 vouchers for the new season of SAO. Yeah, some people have. The best compliments I've heard it get is that it's not as bad as the rest of it. I watched the Sword Art Online movie too, and I also thought that was pretty dumb. It did the exact same thing where they artificially raised the stakes with just a line of dialogue. It was dumb. SAO sucked, said Cultural Legend. Oh dear, that's just no, here we go. Bull Party says that Teasing Master, that Takagi-san reminds them of love they could get in their life. Quincy Chamberlain asks what kind of dogs I have. I have 2 cavoodles, so Cavaliers cross poodles, and I've got 1 mutt, sort of crossbreed. He was a rescue dog, and he's a very friendly dog. Duncan Bones vouchers for Attack on Titan after season 1. Yeah, I never watched past season 1, but the one episode that starkly sticks out from Attack on Titan. Maybe it wasn't a whole episode. Maybe it was maybe it was just a scene, but it felt like it dragged on forever. It was when the army had just discovered that Eren could turn into a Titan, and they tried to kill him and his friends by shooting cannons at them, and he sort of forms this half Titan to stop the cannonball fire. And there's smoke all around them, and Eren says, okay, we have until the smoke dissipates to work out what we're going to do next. And it takes forever for the smoke to dissipate. It's like, I'm pretty sure it is like nearly an entire episode that they're just standing around talking about what to do when this impossibly thick smoke finally goes away. It very much reminds me of it very much reminds me of something Yahtzee Croshaw once said about anime. Something like, I watched an anime once. A guy pulled the trigger at the start of the episode, and the bullet hit at the end. Everything in between was angst. I wouldn't mind. Bull Party vouchers for Slice of Life in general. Yep, Slice of Life is good stuff. Shu has asked if I think the Moto series will get an anime adaptation. I did bring up before. I don't think so. I don't think it's. I don't think it has as much potential to be a decent anime adaptation as Takagi-san did, just because of the lack of sort of narrative through line. But if they were to make a show out of it, and they were to add a narrative through line, I think it could make a pretty decent show. But if I had to choose between a Takagi-san Season 3 and a Moto adaptation, I'd pick Season 3, hands down. Data52 has recommended Golden Time. Golden Time, that was, after I watched Toradora, I kept looking up like what shows are like Toradora. That's how I initially discovered Clannad, and Golden Time kept coming up because it was apparently written by the same mangaka who wrote Toradora. I've never seen it though, but I have heard pretty good things about it. Lawrence Montoya has said that watching Takagi-san Season 2 will be one of their main memories from Summer Vacation 2019. That's nice. It's nice. It's certainly a show that's going to stick with me for a very long time too. Not only has it begun this YouTube channel, but I've studied it so hard that I'm not going to be forgetting it anytime soon. I won't be watching Takagi-san for a little while, I don't think. I think I need to take a break from it after watching it so intensely. But I am looking forward to one day being able to sit down and just kind of watch it again. I'll probably still think about it. I can't really turn my brain off when it comes to watching media, but yeah, just not having to pause it every few seconds and take notes and all that. Right. When I was talking about As the Moon So Beautiful, Kim Jong-hong has pointed out that I'm talking about Tsukigakeri. Tsukigakeri, I think you pronounce it. Yes, that is the show I am talking about. It's not on my anime list for some reason. Oh no, there it is. Why did I give it a 9? Oh, right, I gave it a 9 because it drags in some bits, but it's still really, really good. I strongly recommend it. Cultural Legend has already watched As the Moon So Beautiful because I recommended it to them in the comments once. Did you like it? Was it a good recommendation? My recommendations can be a little hit or miss sometimes because sometimes I get really excited about certain shows that, like, I recommended Toradora to a friend and they couldn't even get past the first couple. Said that they've watched all my anime recommendations except for Snow White with the red hair, which is it's pretty good. It's pretty good. It's like I said before, it gets a little bit sappy. They kind of turn the drama up to 100. Like, those older anime where, like, when someone's in love and all the background around them gets blurred and blown out, and sometimes there are rose petals everywhere. It's very much one of those shows, but I like it. Bull Party wants more slice of life anime. Yeah, me too. Good slice of life anime. What did I? Oh, I've just seen another one. Midori no Hibi, or Midori Days, is another kind of. It's a bit of a quirky anime. It does have frontal nudity, so probably not for younger people, but it's this real quirky show. It's about a guy who is really unlucky with the ladies and says, "Oh, the only girlfriend I'll ever have is my right hand." And then he wakes up the next day and there's literally a girl on his right hand who's been in love with him forever. And it's a very quirky show. I recommend the manga over the anime, but if you're mostly looking for anime, then yeah. Yeah, a lot of slice of life, unfortunately, isn't fantastic. What was it? Slow Start. I watched the first episode and never touched again. The Mikiri Jikan, just a series of shorts where people wait at a train crossing. Didn't get very far into that. Yeah, I'm not exactly sure what it is that hooks me into a show versus what makes me want to keep watching a show versus what shows just lose my interest. But as someone who loves media and maybe one day wants to make media, that's kind of what this YouTube channel is about. It's learning. Bones wants to know if myself or anyone else here on the live stream are planning to play Animal Crossing New Horizons. I don't have a Switch. The only portable gaming device I have is a PlayStation Vita, which I just bought Minecraft for, and I'm having an absolute ball. I don't have a Switch, so I can't, but I would like to. I quite liked Animal Crossing on the Nintendo DS. Why did they make an anime of Iron Ladies? Asks Bull Party. I've never even heard of it, so I couldn't tell you. Cultural Legends, have you watched 1 Week Friends? No, but I've read the manga and I absolutely adore it. I'm actually buying the physical copies piece by piece. I did hear that there was an anime adaptation, and I would love to watch it someday. But yeah, I love the manga. I adore the 1 Week Friends manga. It's beautiful, beautiful little story. Bull Party says that what draws them into an anime if they like the main character or if it shows promise. Yeah, that's fair enough. I've got a friend who will only watch a show, or before they watch a show, they'll look up a compilation of its funniest moments, and they'll only watch it if the funniest moments make them laugh. And some things I've watched with them, they sort of they get really excited about one character, one of the side characters normally. As for me, I think it might be but this is just speculation. I'm not really sure, but I think it might be plot or just sort of the writing and presentation, maybe. I'm not entirely sure, but I would love to work it out so that, you know, next time I tell someone, oh, I didn't get past episode 1 of this, I can explain to them that you know, I can explain why. Yeah, I could right now explain. There are 2 shows on Netflix that I tried to watch recently. One I fell in love with and have watched a few times. The other one, I didn't even make it through the first episode and I turned it off in disgust. The one I loved is Brooklyn Nine-Nine, which I'm sure you guys would have heard of. It's not an anime. Neither of these are anime, but yeah, when I was talking to someone about it and I told them that I knew someone who couldn't get past the first few episodes of Brooklyn Nine-Nine, they said, oh, they should at least watch the first season. And I said, well, no, I don't think so. I knew I was going to love Brooklyn Nine-Nine from the very first scene. And the one that I didn't end up liking very much was, I can't even remember the name. It's like this post-apocalyptic show set in LA, basically about a virus that wiped out all the adults and only the kids are around, and they sort of build tribes based on stereotypical high school cliques. The writing was really how do you do fellow kids type writing, like definitely sounded like something a 60-year-old would write for a millennial. There was CGI, which was atrocious, and I turned it off when they introduced a side character who sexually identified as a starfish. That's just blatant straw man ridiculous's. And I said, okay, if that's the kind of stuff you're throwing at me now, then I'm not interested. I turned it off after that. It was awful. Maybe it gets better after that. But that first impression was so garbage that I just turned it off. And I'm falling behind again. Great. Duncan Bones is considering getting a Vita. Are they worth it? Definitely look up the games you can get on them. I've definitely gotten my money's worth. I've got Final Fantasy VII on it, which I'm playing through for the first time. Persona 4 Golden was really cool. Being able to play Minecraft and Stardew Valley on the go was really cool. So definitely look into the games you can get, and if that makes it seem worth it, then go for it. Play it normally anymore. Like I can't just create a world, build a house, and do stuff. I have to have some extra level of challenge. Like I used to be really into like the city construction challenge and all that sort of, you know, you're only allowed to use wooden tools until you've built this and this and this. And yeah, I'm really into stuff like that. Augustine, is that how you pronounce it? Tam asks, will you do another rewriting of Takagi-san? Maybe. I don't know. It's really weird. After Summer Festival came out, a few people left comments on my Takagi-san fan fiction saying I had to double check the release date of this. Like they thought that I'd written it after Summer Festival. And I was, like at the very start of Takagi-san 2 analysis, I did imagine that I would mention the similarities between Summer Festival and my own fan fiction. But I wound up not doing that. But yeah, it was kind of weird. So yeah, and I probably wouldn't want to get into another situation like that. Shu, last question. You don't have to limit yourself if you don't want to. Do you think the manga will end for Teasing Master anytime soon? I don't think there's any way to tell. Because the manga is out of chronological order, no matter what they do in the manga, they can always sort of go back in time to when things were simpler, if they want to do more fillery stories. I do hope that if they do get together or anything like that, I was about to say, I do hope if they get together that that's the end. But no, if they want to keep it going and see how they, explore what their life in a relationship is like, that would be awesome. I would love that. But I wouldn't want them to have them get together and then go back to a story where they're not together yet afterwards. But yeah, there's really no way to tell if it'll end soon. Some of the chapters have been sort of suggesting that things are progressing, but yeah, there's really no way to tell, unfortunately. Kim Jong-hong says Spirited Away is pretty good. I just recently got the Hayao Miyazaki collection on Blu-ray. Excuse me. I got Marvel's big Infinity Saga box set with all the movies from Iron Man 1 to Spider-Man Homecoming, Spider-Man Far From Home, sorry. And I bought it from JB Hi-Fi, and they were having a deal where it's like, oh, buy one box set, get one free. And I'm like, okay, well, the Infinity Saga is the most expensive box set you have. What's the second most expensive box set you have? They were like, collection of Hayao Miyazaki. I'm like, score, yes. So I haven't watched any of them yet, but I have watched Spirited Away years ago. I did watch Howl's Moving Castle, and I did watch The Wind Rises. But I am going to watch them all again in the near future. Blue Pond also recommends the 1 Week Friends anime. If it's even half as good as the manga was, then I'm very excited. Data52 wants to know if I'm planning on doing an analysis for. I'll make a list of shows that you guys recommend and have a look. Duncan Bone asks, have you watched Demon Slayer? I recently started watching and it's pretty great. I definitely recommend. I have not. But if you recommend it, then I'll give it a look. Kim Jong-hong asks what my opinion on the Takagi-san dub is, because they couldn't stand it at all. It was fine. It was serviceable. Most of the time, they were able to convey what the original story had said. There are only 2 moments that stick out to me as being particularly terrible. One of them was in Forms of Address, when Takagi is meant to be encouraging Nishikata to say her name without an honorific. She says go on, really get in there, go for it. What? Who wrote that? Why did no one realize how weird that sounded? And in Date, when Nishikata imagines telling his friends that he's not on a date, like when he imagines them asking if he's on a date and he says, oh no, they translate it to be like, oh no way, dudes, totally not. Why? So but yeah, other than that, it's serviceable. I've made jokes in the past about being a sub elitist, but really I don't really mind. I do prefer the sub, but if I'm playing a game and I want to watch an anime that I've already watched, I'll put on the dub so that I don't have to stop playing the game to read the subtitles. Cultural legend, that sounds like coronavirus. Oh boy. Well, I did say at the very beginning, I am in self-isolation. I just got back from a holiday in Greece, and I have to self-isolate for a little while. And I did just find out that the plane I came back on was confirmed to have coronavirus on it. Very far away from where I was sitting, but still. But yeah, I don't think that cough is coronavirus. I think my voice is just starting to give out. Excuse me. You could probably tell in the summer festival analysis. That took me an hour and 10 minutes to record, and like I had to stop and sit down a few times. There go my dogs again. But yeah, so I've probably been talking too much. Duncan Bones says Quidalic Code. Is that an anime you're recommending? I'll have a look. Bull Party says that they do want a season 3 for Takagi-san, but if it sucks, it may affect their opinion for the whole show. Yeah, that's kind of the balance you got to strike. I would like a season 3 because I think Nishikata does out, or them getting together, or even better, they would get together towards the beginning or the middle of the season, and then the rest would be about them adjusting to their new life. Like maybe they could use stories from the manga where they're not together, but add little bits into it. I mean, that probably won't happen. If there is a season 3, it will probably either end with them getting together, or it will end with another bout of character growth. Shu wants to know what my opinion on the season 1 dub is. Yeah, I started with the dub actually. So yeah, and again, it's fine. It's not as good as the sub, but I don't begrudge people for watching it dubbed. Quincy Chamberlain wants to know if I've played Persona 5. I have. It is so good. Actually, a little while ago, I wanted to do a series where I compared the game to the anime, unfavorably to the anime. I didn't think the anime was all that great, but yeah, I love it. I love it. I just missed out on getting to pre-order Persona 5 Royal, the Phantom Thieves edition, the one that comes with the soundtrack, which I would really like because the music in it is just, well, like in context, I reckon that the Awakening theme is one of the best pieces of game music ever made. It gets me hyped up just thinking about it. So yes, I had played Persona 5. I platinumed Persona 5 actually, and I cannot wait for Persona 5 Royal. More questions about, more conversation about the dubs. Cultural Legend says that some people were disappointed with the ending of One Week Friends, of the anime adaptation. Yeah, look, a lot of anime for this kind of manga is sort of designed to be advertising material for the manga. So a lot of the endings are quite anticlimactic. I can deal with that. I can deal with that. I do appreciate that Takagi-san isn't like that, that their endings actually feel like endings, but yeah, I get why not all of them do that. Sorry, just reading through this. Duncan Bones does not recommend Quadalic Code. I've never heard of it. I mean, I'll check it out. I'll look at the first episode, and I'm usually pretty good at determining whether I'm going to enjoy something or not. You know, I have no, you know, I'm not worried about dropping something if it doesn't pique my interest. You know, I watched that video from Digibro a little while back about why he disagrees with the 3-episode test and how you can usually tell if something's going to be good from episode 1. And yeah, and he's definitely right. You know, you can usually tell if something's going to be good or not by its first episode. So I'll at least give that a watch. Bull Party reckons that Takagi-san season 10 will see them hug for the first time, and season 20 will see them kissing on the cheek. Yeah, I know that the show is a slow burn, but I don't think it's that slow a burn. Anime I've seen with a fox in it is Retsuko, but yeah, I'll give it a look. Bull Party usually does a half episode test, and yeah, that's valid. It's any show worth its salt should try to make the first moments of its anime sort of entertaining. You can maybe even boil it down to a one scene test, but okay, actually that might be a little reductionist. Like I said earlier that I was sold on Brooklyn Nine-Nine from the first scene, but it wasn't until the second scene that, like, the first scene shows off one aspect of the show that I really, really like, and the second scene shows off the other, which I might make videos on that someday. All right, well, we're coming up to an hour, so and my voice is starting to give out, so I probably won't be on for much longer, but I reckon we've got time for one, maybe two more questions or comments. So does anyone have anything else they'd like to know? Bull Party, don't forget the slower burn, the better it is, like crappy Days of Our Lives. Days of Our Lives, was that an anime or like a sitcom? Yeah, sometimes I like things to move properly. Yeah, no, looks like people are done. Looks like people are done. Well, thank you all very much for tuning in and for hanging out with me. Oh, it's a very crappy soap opera. Right. All right. Well, that's going to do us for now. I'm going to try to save this live stream so that you can watch it back if you want. People are saying it's a good time. Lawrence Montoya says, thank you for the amazing videos. Thank you for watching them. Yeah, I hope that you guys will join me in whatever I do next. Quincy Chamberlain reckons we should do these more. Maybe. All right. I'll thank you all very much for watching, and I will see you all next time.